Hey YouTube, it's your girl Kymbia G back with another video as a part of my three-part series for the recap of love featuring marriage and divorce. I'm just doing videos, one for each of the leading ladies and their families. If you haven't seen my other videos for si-eun and Hye-ryoung, check them out. If my editing skills are savvy enough, you might see them pop up right here. If not, maybe I'll get it right next time. This video is going to be about Hye-ryoung. So let's hop right on into it. But first, yeah, need some wine because the drama is real. And Hye-ryoung, she is our bombshell. Man, I need a drink after a lot of scenes with her. Hye-ryoung, again, she is our bombshell. She is in her early 30s. She's the youngest out of the three coworkers. She is the face of the radio show. She's a celebrity and drummer. And she's a real cool girl, and she's very talented. She's married to Sa-hyeon, who is a lawyer, and he comes from a rather wealthy family. And he's 1 year younger than she is, which, shouldn't be a big deal. But to his parents, it is. We see his parents in the picture a lot. They are just quite bothered and early on did not approve of their marriage because Hye-ryoung was a year older. And I'm not sure if this plays into the relationship dynamics or not, but maybe it's part of the honorifics culture. If someone is older than you, when you're in an established group, you usually speak to them with respect, and maybe you refer to them as sunbae or unni or hyung. So maybe the parents are just of that traditional mindset that maybe their son won't be able to stand his ground in the marriage or be like a man and macho because his wife is older and she has that position of respect. I'm not sure if that's what it is. I'm also not sure if maybe as we see their relationship unfold, that's why he gives in to Hye-ryoung a lot. He doesn't seem to really fight or vocalize what he wants. And I'm not sure if that's because he's a big baby, a man child, and doesn't know how to stand up for himself, or because he feels like, I don't know, he needs to be more traditional, make his parents happy, and just give in because, she is older. I don't know. I'm leaning towards more so it's because he's just a man child. But yeah, when the series opens, we find out that there's a huge blowout at the radio show. Again, this huge blowout with a married woman coming to confront a younger woman who works as an assistant for Hye-ryoung's radio show. And it turns out it's true. This woman is a mistress and is sleeping with the husband. But with Hye-ryoung, this blowout is very, very interesting and very important because this wife came with the intention of, doing this whole thing to embarrass the assistant, but then the assistant almost flips it and embarrasses the wife right back. And what does she say? The mistress is all like, hey, your husband complains about you. He says that you're into all of the luxury and designer and the fashions and the high life, while I'm simple. He likes that I'm more casual. And we see that she's wearing like a loose fitted, a baggy t-shirt and just some jeans and like no makeup, hair in a ponytail. While the wife is all like zhuzh. She's got this beautiful, like white suit on, hair done, makeup, everything. She's looking a little scary, a little ghostly and super pale, but I guess that's her thing. Um, but the girl flips it right on her and is like, your husband complains about you. And also, you don't really cook for him. And when you do, it's maybe like eggs and cereal. You don't really be throwing down in the kitchen or catering to him like that. And she also goes on to say the only reason why he married you is because you got pregnant and trapped him into marrying you. You knew that he was interested in somebody else and wasn't really all that in love with you, but he couldn't walk away from you because you were pregnant and he had a duty to the baby. And the wife kind of, she's still in the right, like, yo, you are messing with my husband. And shout out to that young boy who was like, hey, go yell at your husband. He's in the wrong, like, thank you. But the mistress ends up, she was able to come back. And this is very, very important for Hye-ryoung. Let's remember that. And so when she's meeting up with her two coworkers, just reflecting on the blowout that just happened at work, we can see where Hye-ryoung's mindset is. She's insisting that, oh no, they got to get a divorce because if it were me and I found out that my husband was cheating on me, I couldn't stay. I can't stay in a loveless marriage and I'm gone. Deuces. And she's like, back in the day, women would stay after infidelity, but that's because they weren't self-sufficient. But me, I got my money, I got my fame, and I could leave. We'll see how true that is. But, Pyung and Si-eun are like, well, you stay for the kids. And Hye-ryoung was like, well, I ain't got babies, so I don't have any problems kicking his ass to the curb if he were to ever cheat on me. And with Sa-hyeon, we learned that he's like a hopeless romantic. He is quite superstitious. He believes in dreams and he needs a sign. He doesn't really make a decision unless he feels like there's some kind of sign from the universe or something. And I just feel like sometimes this can make him come off as very insecure. Like, yo, you should know what you want and you should know what the right thing is to do. Just make a decision and, put your foot down sometimes. And he doesn't really do that. And what else is also interesting is that Sa-hyun can't sleep. When we see early scenes with him and Hye-ryoung, he's very restless. She's trying to go to bed. She looks peaceful, like she's going to sleep peacefully, but he is just awake. He can't sleep. He's getting up, going to his library or office. He's reading books, trying to figure out his dreams, or he just can't sleep at all. He's tossing and turning. And this is very different from the other two husbands. Pyung's husband, Yushin, he goes home after cheating and is very peaceful. He loves going home to Pyung and Jiha, and he's very flirtatious with his wife at home and goes to bed peacefully. And Hye-ryoung, even though he asks for his wife for a divorce, he goes right back to the same bed with her and sleeps. He sleeps, but Sa-hyun can't sleep. And I think that is a way to visually indicate that love and bond between him and Hye-ryoung isn't there. That they are off. They're not aligned at all. And they don't have that same peaceful, cozy home that, Pyung and Lee-seon have created for their families. So even though their families are in turmoil or their husbands are cheating, stepping out, there's still this peacefulness at home. So I did notice that. And we do find out that he is, in fact, cheating. He, goes to the gym at Hye-ryoung's behest. She not so nicely poked him in the belly, told him, you need to take care of that. Don't get out of shape, go to the gym. And, that's what he did. And while at the gym, I guess he used this as an excuse to push up on this really cute lady who is working out. He approaches her. They end up chit-chatting. She starts off by sharing her like healthy lifestyle and salads and whatever, but and then it grows into her becoming almost like a marriage coach. You know, she herself has been divorced, and she got divorced because she couldn't get pregnant. And we find out that, you know, she has some wisdom to impart to Sa-hyeon and tries to encourage him to make up with his wife and try to see things from her perspective. And Sa-hyeon just really gets on my nerves because the complaints he has about his wife just really kind of seem petty, most of them. I mean, like the food. He's upset with Hye-ryoung because she's throwing out the food that his mom made. And it's like, well, she's not just throwing it out. The food was spoiling. It was going bad. So why keep it? And yo, you could eat the food. Why is it on her to eat it? She's doing the responsible thing, throwing out food when it's going to be spoiled. Like, why are you complaining about that? Like, sir, goodbye. You know, he also complains about Hye-ryung's makeup. You know, he doesn't like all the eyeliner and the false eyelashes that she wears. And again, it's like, okay, but that's her body and you met her that way. Why would you expect her just to up and change? But remember, this is very reminiscent of that big blowout that happened at the radio show, right? The mistress was very low-key, casual, no makeup, while the wife was all, you know, decked out in luxury and, you know, groomed and primed. And we're seeing it in this situation with Hye-ryoung, her husband. While even though she's fly, she's got a personal assistant. She is always, you know, looking, you know, fancy and looking her best and in heels and everything. He is liking Sung-won, who is very chill. She's in gym workout clothes most of the time when they speak, and she doesn't wear a lot of makeup. You know, so we're seeing that parallel happening here. She's also chill. She's a Chinese translator. Well, she's Korean, but she's a translator for like Chinese texts. And so she has a job. She, you know, and a career. She's very intelligent, but her job is more chill compared to his wife. His wife is this star and celebrity who's famous in her own right and has her own going on, and he's not. That's not his zhuzh. That's not his thing. You know, that's not, I guess, good enough for him. He more so prefers, you know, Sung-won, who is more laid back and has a more chill job. And the two biggest issues that I feel like he really has with Hye-ryoung, like a leg to stand on, is, you know, when Hye-ryoung forgot about his dad's birthday, and rather than being honest and upfront that she has a conflict, she tried to talk him into lying on her behalf and saying that he had the conflict and had him cancel on his parents', you know, birthday dinner so that she can go to her golfing event. And I'm like, I hope the golfing event wasn't at the dad's country club. Like, that would be really awkward. But hey, I'm like, I don't think you should encourage your spouse to be put in an awkward position with his or her parents, you know. But again, he's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. He didn't have to do that, you know. And then also, she doesn't want kids. She's not ready to get pregnant. She's not sure if she ever wants to be a mother. And he does want kids, you know. And I don't know. I guess he just figured that one day she would just up and change. But hey. And, you know, with Sung-won, you know, before in the beginning, she's trying to encourage them to stay together, but she starts to fall for Sa-hyeon. I guess he's just adorable and romantic, and he seems very considerate, and they seem to, I guess, want similar things and really value the position of like in-laws and, you know, parents in a marriage. But I don't know. I feel like she has a lot of wisdom, and I do like her. But then she decides to sleep with him because she feels insecure, and she thinks that him sleeping with her will drive him away. I didn't get that. I'm like, girl, you were in the gym every day working on your body, keeping it right and tight. There's no way in hell you thought that taking him to bed would push him away. Like, I don't get that at all. But anyway, She was able to get pregnant, which she couldn't do in her marriage previously. So, of course, she wants to keep the baby. And while she understands the situation that she's in and understands that he should go to his wife, and the price that she has to pay for sleeping with a married man is being a single mom. But he's still holding on to her big time. And Hye-ryoung does find out that he's cheating. She notices that, he's using a different phone, confronts him about it, and finds out that he's been cheating on her and also has a baby mama. But interestingly enough, she doesn't want a divorce right away. So in episode 1, she was saying to Hye-ryoung and Si-eun how she would get a divorce because she can't stand a loveless marriage. But that's not her reaction, right? She wants to hold on to her marriage. She wants to, like, quote unquote win. And then she also wants to now get pregnant all of a sudden. She, I guess, is convinced that if she has a baby, she would oddly trap her already husband from and distract him from wanting to go with the baby mama. And then again, reminiscent, throw it back to that huge blowout, right? The mistress called out the woman for purposefully getting pregnant to trap this man into marrying her. And while Hye-ryoung is already married, she is trying to use pregnancy as sort of a vehicle or way to keep her marriage together, to keep it glued together. And I mean, her coworker said that kids are everything and that men value kids over their wives. So I mean, I get her line of thinking, but that's not okay. You don't want to try and trap somebody into a situation or force something that isn't right. And girl, let this man child go. Let him go. And Young was also kind of right. Some men do see kids as more important than their wives, and that is the case for Sa-hyeon. Interestingly enough, he has gotten this other woman pregnant, and he feels like that's where his duty should be, to that baby and not necessarily to his wife, and he's very conflicted. His parents, while Hye-ryoung is not their favorite, they have been making an effort to you know connect with her and everything, but he kind of just dismantles that and undoes all of their effort with this news. It's like, what can they do? They're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And they are happy to hear the news about a grandchild, but they feel like they can't, bother with the grandbaby because out of loyalty to their daughter-in-law. And the dad is pissed off at his son. He's like, you need to take responsibility. You need to cut that baby mama off and focus on your wife. But then eventually when they meet Sungwon, they really fall for her. She is, loving and, smart. And she more so aligns with their traditional family values. And so much so that they kind of ignore the 10-year age gap, They're willing to overlook it. And Hye-ryoung is kind of the odd man out in the marriage, when we get to this past episode 14, she finally does decide to get a divorce, but she does some antics. Again, like that big blowout in episode 1, she does this whole thing where she has a press conference. It's not a radio show confronting a woman at a radio show, but it's a press conference. And she decides to out all of her business and make her husband look like a whole villain. She's just like, he cheated on me, got another woman pregnant, and wants to leave me. And that is all true. That is all true. But she just kind of removes the fact that I beat him up and I whooped her ass. And I eventually decided to agree to the divorce, but after I made sure I got my big expensive house that his in-laws offered to pay for. She left all of that out. All of that out. And it's like, where are they going to go from here? I feel like similar to the first episode, how that showdown kind of backfired on the wife confronting the mistress. It might backfire on Hye-ryoung. And I like her. She's not some evil person. You know, she has dimension to her. I think she's doing what a lot of us think that we would do in a similar situation. We would confront people head on. We would slap our husbands silly. You know, we would yell. We would throw a plate or whatever at the baby mama and the other woman. So she's not doing anything out of line, and I think sometimes the in-laws try to make it seem like she's a crazy villain person who's just being, you know, unrealistic and overreacting. But I think a lot of her actions and reactions are quite warranted. I just don't know if they're going to serve her well. And when it comes to Sungwon, I do think that the writers have set her up to be likable, you know, even when we're introduced to her with the other two mistresses, because the three of them are friends. You know, she was sitting on one side of the table at the restaurant, but Ami and Gabin were sitting next to each other, right? So I think that that was a way to visually set Sungwon apart from the other two. Like, not only is she older, but maybe her circumstances and her situation is different from the other two. Maybe she'll have a quote unquote happy ending compared to Gabin and Ami. Um, Besides that, I am a little confused about Sungwon as a character. I don't know if it's intentional or the writers just kind of, I don't know, there's just some holes in her story. You know, she's first starts off with eating healthy and salads and everything, but then she's this complete foodie. And like, I totally get, like, when you're pregnant you have cravings, but she just seems to be like completely different. And she's definitely favoring whatever her in-laws want. So if her, not in-laws, the parents of her baby daddy, whatever they want is a go. She prioritizes them, unlike Hye-ryoung. But Sangwon, I just think that she genuinely wants, you know, that in-law figure in her life. She didn't have a really good relationship with in-laws in her previous marriage, and so I think that's really important to her, and she doesn't take that for granted in the way that Hye-ryoung does, in a way. But you know, when the mother wants to cook, Songwon is like, yep, sure, I'll eat whatever. But I'm like, girl, you weren't like that before. What happened? And also, she stood there and let Hye-ryoung beat her ass and grab her hair. She wasn't like that. When she met Gabin and Ami in line that day, she stood up for Gabin. I don't know if you guys remember, but you know, when this fan who was being a bully towards Gabin was there, it was Sungwon who made physical contact with him. She grabbed his hand and was like, no, you don't want this, right? You don't want none of this. People are going to film it, right? She made physical contact. She didn't have a lot of fear, and she wasn't so like, submissive or anything like that, but she seems to have completely changed all of a sudden. And I felt like, you know, when you're pregnant, you're protective over your baby. And so I was just a little, I don't know, that was a misalignment there for me, how she just stood there and let Hye-ryoung pull her hair and break plates and stuff. Like, she had a more tough kind of grown persona when she was with Gabin and Ami. But yeah, so we'll see how things work out. Besides that, I do think that Hye-ryoung and Sa-hyeon's situation shows that in-laws get impacted too, right? They don't have kids like Pyeong and Lee Si-eun, but their decisions and actions don't just impact them. And I think that's what's important. You know, just how the kids are impacted in the other two marriages, the parents here are impacted as well. You know, when she goes and does her press conference and Sa-hyeon gets doxxed, the parents are hurt too socially. You know, they have people calling and harassing them and saying how wrong they are. His cheating didn't just, mess up his marriage, break, Hye-ryung's heart, and, just really crush her with disappointment, it also impacted his parents big time. And I guess maybe we'll continue to see the fallout. I don't know if it'll just kind of quickly heal and resolve and they'll be fine, or if we'll continue to see their social standing and money and businesses and careers be threatened even more in the last two episodes. We'll see. And Hye-ryoung is pushing up on Mr. So. What you guys think about that? I don't agree with that. I don't think he likes her. And I just think she's being a little too desperate in this. I feel like she and Dong Ma were a better match. When they met up, they were like going back and forth, having really cute banter, and that was fun and interesting. Seeing her with Mr. So wasn't interesting. She was just trying to, gain sympathy from him, thinking that was going to drive his affection. But again, we see that she's mostly about social status and social standing. She's more interested in him because he's the eldest son of a major electronics conglomerate or company or whatever. And that's what she's after. She's an independent woman with her own money and fame and status. So for her, if she's going to get married, marriage needs to either level up or solidify her current social standing, and maybe also come with some good companionship. She's not looking to please in-laws and extend her family. She's not looking to necessarily have kids and become a mother. She wants companionship and, that social status. And I mean, I feel her, to each their own. She's worked hard with her career, and if she wants to be able to marry someone who's going to come in and match that same level or higher, that's fine. I just don't think that she should try to, put on a front in order to do it. And I also don't think she should make a rival out of like Pyong and good friends to make it happen either. It's not worth it. So hopefully Hye-ryoung has perspective. Hopefully we see her true self, because I do think that she's sweet and I do think that she has a good heart, and I do think that she's very, very smart. So hopefully that wins in the end and she doesn't end up like embarrassed like the woman in the blowout in the first scene in episode 1. So yeah, let's see how it all turns out. 2 more episodes to go, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're liking the video and commentary, like and subscribe. I like the encouragement. I'm new to this, and so we'll see if I can return and make some more videos. This weekend, next week. Well, thanks again, guys. Bye.